you know, it's always important that you talk about the problems first, and that's where you learn the most. And again, I'm going to jump over and just get into some real problems. I do want to emphasize on the level of cut and the angle of cut. I think those are two very important things, and then working the medial curve. Again, Lou's shown this. This is our very first case we did in Australia, and with Ian Woodgate. I wasn't there, and I think an intraoperative x-ray, he would have made a little better neck resection. This patient has done absolutely great. He's a little bit of varus stem. The distal tip angle probably saved the patient. Also, using a large metal on metal probably reduce any chances of mechanical impingement. But I think we learned from this that we'd go in and make a second neck resection and reduce any chances there. This was the third patient that he did, high-profile sports medicine female, and she went on to win, or not win, but came in 26th or something in the World Swim Championships. And 3 weeks after her initial index surgery, she was out sea kayaking. So we've been very encouraged. We're out 2.5 years in Australia, and we're very encouraged by what we're seeing. We did make a design change, the early design, because of manufacturing. We had a little bit more of a wedge here, and that caused a few problems, so we have corrected this, and I think this is a step in the right direction. Refinement of instruments is underway. Again, Lou, I can't stress this enough. Do a good functional range of motion and make sure you know before you leave the OR that you're not going to have any mechanical impingements. I wanted to show you the stem sizes that we've used. We have 5 stem sizes, and there is a need for a smaller size. You can see the size 1, 30% of the time. So 1, 2, and 3 has been predominant. We probably have one case where we could have used a 6. Sizes in the female, you can see here, this is our problem. In the small female profile, we do need a smaller size, and we're in the process of evaluating to see how we're going to address that. Males, predominantly a size 3. Neck angles, predominantly an 8 degree or 12 degree varus or valgus. We are coming out with an anteverted neck also. More varus than valgus. Head neck. I think we're seeing here that we can go in and make a lower neck resection, and we should probably be more around the 0 as opposed to a -3 or 5. So this is not a subcap, and early on I think we all made too high of a neck resection. We've got quite a bit of room to work with. Head diameter, and you can see 36 is the dominant. We are starting to see some surgeons use the dual mobile, particularly in small female profiles. Also, I want you to notice here the sagittal slot is closed in. It's Tony Aram's patient, you know, on a type A bone. So again, the slot is functioning. Curved stem, you can put it in varus or valgus or neutral. You just need to be aware of that. We haven't seen any indication that one is better than the other. Certainly, we want to try and aim for neutral. Intraoperative assessment, I gave a paper for Lou in Australia last year on intraoperative assessment and x-rays, and they asked me in the session how many people did intraoperative x-ray, and thank God Tom Takacha was with me because he was the only one in the audience. Australia doesn't like intraoperative x-rays. But I've seen Lou, and it saves, and 70% of the time, because he uses modularity, he is adjusting something to do with that fit. Charlie Bryan showing that. This is our youngest patient to date, the 17-year-old Ed McPherson motorcycle accident. We have seen some calcar cracks. I was in on this one with Brad Vaughn, and this crack went all the way down the lesser troch. We probably could have wired it, but I suggested that he convert it right away to a K2 stem. We see little chips, and as Charlie Bryan pointed out, I don't think this matters too much. We have not seen any distal fractures at all. There's one case that was wired by Brad Walter in Georgia. This is a case, this is a disappointing, I was in on this case along with Jason Heath, and This was a size 5 stem. We probably could have used a 6. It was type C bone, pretty stable. It has subsided. Ed McPherson told me the other day the patient has progressed to full weight bearing. This worries me. Technique tip: if you get your rasp down flush to the conical flare and then your stem is proud, it might mean that you're in valgus. And there's nothing wrong with this, but you've got to recognize that so you don't keep driving it and possibly split. This is a very disappointing case, our first stem revision, and we had a disassociation. We use a 12-14 Euro taper. Here's the ASTM standard, and Ed's a big metal-on-metal Magnum head, and I was, could happen. So it was a lesson learned. What we suggest now is if you're going to mix and match, make sure you do your homework and make sure everything's compatible. Again, this would have been something if we've made a little lower neck resection, he probably would have used a -3 or a 0. We wouldn't have had that problem. So that's our first stem. It was converted to a primary Mallory head. We are very encouraged with what we're seeing on bone remodeling, 2.5 years, and we have about 5 examples where it looks like the bone has grown up to the conical flare. So we're encouraged at this point. We're going to be doing RSA studies and bone deck studies, and hopefully we'll keep presenting as to what the future is. And again, we're encouraged. I want to thank everybody for sticking around. We'll try and have a few question and answers for anybody who wants to hang around. But again, thank you very much for spending your afternoon.